I didn't know where it was going. I didn't know where it was going to go. At that stage, as far as I knew, we were examining fringe science, and that in itself is a massive enough scale, and based on what happened in the 80s and 70s, those fellas. So at that stage, that was all I knew about. And I heard all this talk about X-Files, but I think it's natural for us to try and find a comparison. You know, that's what we do automatically. Oh, it looks like, sounds like, and so people said X-Files. But and that was a great honour, frankly, because X-Files was a magnificent show. But we're not X-Files. We had very little similarity, really, and certainly in the way we were going. And we've got past that now, I do believe. And hopefully creating a unique show. That's what we aim to do. You know, with this procedural science fiction procedural, but the key to our show, I think, is the relationships that exist in it, and that's kind of unique in procedurals. That the relationships could belong to any drama anywhere in the world between families and friends. So it was good to be compared to the X-Files, but I never saw it. Look, it's television and it's fast. So what happens is that if I go onto a set, then I'll basically improvise the blocking because I know exactly what my character will do, and I'll know what lines the cameras are going to shoot down, and so I'll go in there and I'll do that. And if the director doesn't like it, he'll change it. But we know these characters very well. We'll also take the script and improvise the moments, the beats, the emotional beats that exist within it. Obviously, you know, those moments that you get between characters, we'll find out. We don't play around with the script very much. Occasionally we'll change a word or a line, but normally if there's a change we have to get authority from the writer's camp. Right. And that's fair enough. I think that's fair enough because otherwise people start to take carte blanche on stuff. Yeah. And some of it's hard. Some of it's really hard. So a lot of actors would rather say, "Oh, well, let's do it my way." You know? But no, they're good. And then there's sometimes if it's something that works, like if there's something that doesn't make sense to me, and I've given it my absolute best, and it doesn't make sense, and I say to them, "This doesn't make sense," I say, "Oh, that doesn't make sense." That happens. It still gets through. And there's a line, really, quite an interesting line that came up at the end of. It was the end of the Peter episode where Walter went back to the other side. Went back 25 years, and he came back in the final scene. He was with Olivia, and he said, "I've created all this damage. I opened the gate. I did all this stuff." And then he said to her, "You have no idea what it's like to lose a child." That line, and that wasn't that line. But we in our family, in my family, had just before that lost a child, and I was conscious of the profound effect that was having. I mean, horrific effect. He was only 19 months old. And the absolute unravelling of a family. And I could imagine if it was one of my children. So I asked for permission to change it. You have no idea what it's like to lose a child, because to me that was absolutely what I meant and what Walter meant. And they said, yes, whereas it had been something else before. So you can get that, provided it's done with good intention and thought through. They do amazing things, don't they? They change them around, and like in the finale, they've gone to red for the other side. Have you seen that yet? And when we did the 25 years one, they changed all the lettering. That was so cool. It was so cool. I don't know about that. We'll find out. And
they even changed the music for that one as well.
They did, yes. And in the finale, they've got one of them is the First Nation or the First People, and that was one of the things flashed across it. And my agent rang me. She said, "Who are the first people who are?" I said, "I don't know." Well, it's not unexplained to me. I don't think it's unexplained. I'm sorry if that sounds pedantic. I don't. There are more things in heaven and life, Horatio, than I dreamt of in my philosophy. I don't. You know, I'm 61, and I blush almost on a daily basis at what I didn't know yesterday. And I say this to my wife sometimes, I'll actually blush, because I'll have worked for 61 years believing a set of things to be true, or a principle true, and then find out it's not. You go, oh. Seriously embarrassing stuff. In terms of what we deal with in science fiction, I don't think any of it's beyond the realms of possibility. I think it's beyond the realms of our capability at this stage. But our imaginations take us there. There's a fair chance we can get there. And that's been proven throughout history. So nothing really surprises me too much. It excites me. You get on well with Bones.
Yeah?
Yeah. She's really cool. And I can imagine David and Olivia getting on well too. You know, that's very
Yes.
what Peter would do.
Angela.
Oh yeah. That's it. No, that's
a good scene,
That's
isn't it?
interesting because what's happened with in network television for the first time almost ever, certainly in the last 15 years, Fox have kept the same Thursday night program as they had 1 year to the next, because every Thursday night they'll be getting their asses really kicked by the big runners, you know, which is CSI, Grey's Anatomy. For the first time they had one that held its own, and that was Bones and Fringe back to back. In that, it's shocking that it's so hard that night. We said, don't put us Thursday night, please. So Bones and Fringe have been paired together very much as a team that works. It'd be good to do a crossover.
It'd be nice.
Probably the most fun to watch. No, the most fun to film was Peter, because that was very hard going back and doing all the pre-aging stuff. And it was only me, frankly, because I was the only principal character, and except for a little bit from Anna at the beginning and then Blair in the middle. So it was really hard, but I loved that. That was huge fun. And but Brown Betty was, God knows what was happening there. we go, what is this? It turned out really interestingly, though. You know,
I loved it. But
JJ, look, let me be honest, and has never said, JJ does not involve himself on a day-to-day basis, basically beyond the launch of a show. And we all dodge around this, but he doesn't. What he has is these incredible creative ideas, and then he gives it away to people to do. But if anything goes wrong, he's where it stops. So, you know, I mean, I can still, and do, email JJ or something like that, but he's not in the day-to-day running. And he's never directed an episode of ours, and he's only been on the set about 3 times. So that's the facts. Yeah. You know, he's got Undercover, the new show. He's got another film coming up next year. So he's like this. Gets these ideas.
Yeah. So was in Lost. Yeah, he directed a couple episodes of Lost, though. But,
that was a long time ago, but he hasn't done any of us, and he won't. I don't believe he will.
No.
Because he's handed it over. And, you know, they might as well say it, because everyone dodges around and says, oh, no, he's fantastic. Well, it's no embarrassment, the fact that he could do this and that he kept coming up with these great ideas. You know, I taught acting too, and it's a hard one to come up with. I think that most actors get tied up in the words, and you know they're given scripts and they agonise over the words, whereas in fact the words are really like the tip of the iceberg for an actor. They're the end result of thought processes, and so I never think of them as words. I think of them as thoughts. Which is what there's, you know, it's like there's so much happens between the words. Like a character can go through 10 emotion shifts between the end of a sentence and the next one. But if you're writing on words, you don't do them. So I believe a good actor works on the thoughts, and the words will pop out, whatever they are. It's a hard one, but if you think about it, it kind of works really well.